This was a really interesting interview, and this was posted by Secrets of Dune, this little snippet. This is an interview with Josh Brolin on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. Really interesting what he shares about Dune Part 3 / Messiah. I can't let that go. It is Dune Messiah to me. But it is interesting because when it comes to the name and the official title, there's just so much speculation going on right now about why is it called Dune Part 3? Why is that the official name, at least for now? And a lot of people are wondering, well, is it the studio just doesn't like the term Messiah, or do we just want to keep with the naming conventions so it doesn't look so strange next to Dune Parts 1 and 2? I could see the reasonings for both of those. But also, when it comes to the adaptation, there's a lot of speculation about, does the name reflect what Denis Villeneuve intends on adapting? How is he adapting the source material, especially in light of the casting announcements of Leto II and Ganima in their teenage years? There's just a lot of unknowns and a lot of wild speculation happening in regards to what will this adaptation actually be covering. Is it going to be this hybrid of Messiah and Children of Dune? And is that why they went with the title Dune Part 3? I want to get y'all's opinions on this as well. What Josh Brolin's part in this film would be could shed some light on this situation. So let's see what he has to say.
So have you read the script for Dune 3, Dune Messiah, whatever the hell we call this?
I have. Very good. It is. It's very good. It's super good.
I don't know if I haven't read Dune Messiah, the book, but
I have.
Gurney isn't in that book that much, as far as I've read.
In the movie too.
Oh no.
No, I'm in it, but
you're in it.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not there right now.
Okay.
I've gotten texts by people who are also in it who apparently haven't read the script or only read their parts, which I don't understand, because that's why I reached out to Denis. I was like, why are all these people think like, hey, are you here yet?
Yeah. Have you read the
script? Like, are we going to go to the bathhouse in Budapest? I'm like, dude, read the script. Like, do your job.
But this feels like a worthy conclusion to this trilogy?
Oh, in a big way. In a big way. And I just talked to, one of the heads of Warner Brothers, and they're very, very excited, and in a visceral way.
Okay.
It's good. Yeah, I said something like, I heard dailies are really good, and he goes, how do you know? I was like, because I know.
So this is interesting though, because yes, he's not in Dune Messiah. Gurney Halleck and Lady Jessica both are on Caladan at that time. So it could mean a couple things. It definitely seems to support the idea that this won't be a huge mishmash of Messiah and Children of Dune, where Children of Dune, yes, both Gurney Halleck and Lady Jessica have very significant roles in that story. So the fact that his part is so limited is, I guess, evidence against anything that could be seen as this huge mashup of Messiah and Children of Dune. Because I kept thinking that it would just be too much to squeeze into one film. And it just didn't seem to align with Denis Villeneuve's style. I mean, he devoted 2 films to the one book of Dune. There was time jumps in between. Even then, he did have to condense some things. It didn't seem to make sense that he would then, for this story, just smash everything together, 2 books worth, into one film. That would change so much of the story. You'd have to condense a lot. You'd have to change so many things in order for it to be a coherent story and film adaptation. That is interesting to note, and it may end up supporting what I hope is the case with his involvement, even though it is brief. I hope that that means that we will be seeing the in-between years of Dune and Dune Messiah, at least for a little bit, to have that in-between period that would document or show Muad'Dib's jihad that rages across the universe. It seems that that would make sense for them to do, so I don't know if he could be seen in either flashback sequences or narration sequences, sort of like how Dune Part 2 began, something similar. That seems like it would make the most sense to me. It is interesting, though, how the miniseries Children of Dune, which adapted Dune Messiah and Children of Dune into 3 hour-and-a-half long episodes, and in the first episode, which covered Dune Messiah, it actually shows Lady Jessica and Gurney Halleck on Caladan. And it's towards the end, though, after the events of the Stoneburner. Lady Jessica received the news about what happened on Arrakis. So it actually shows her receiving the news. And then the next episode, we will see her and Gurney Halleck both when it covers Children of Dune. So it's kind of like setting up her appearance. I thought that was a good way to do that. That made sense in a mini-series adaptation of that source material as a way to introduce or reintroduce these two characters and to pave the way for their bigger involvement in the next 2 episodes that cover Children of Dune. So there's another option, I guess. I don't think Denis Villeneuve will do that, though. I mean, it's already been done. I don't even know if he knows that the miniseries exists. I never hear him talking about it, but he may take inspiration from it or just do something completely different on his own. And I think it would make the most sense for him and his approach to do a narration or in flashback sequences, show the jihad, and then we'll maybe like fast forward a bit into the future, which is supposed to pick up 12 years after the events of Dune. So there's a good chunk of time in between that could be showcased. It does make me wonder, though, considering Lady Jessica and him are kind of together, but if his role is limited as well, that also makes me think that the same could be the case with Lady Jessica, which makes sense. That is in accordance with the source material, but it would be nice to see her, and I can see Villeneuve wanting to find ways to include her. Personally, I wanted her to be in it only for the sake of what we missed in Dune when it comes to Lady Jessica and her relationship with her daughter Aaliyah. And we haven't actually heard Rebecca Ferguson officially filming. It was reported on initially of who was in the cast, but since then there were reports about who's been arriving in Budapest to film, and I don't think we've heard about Rebecca Ferguson arriving. Apparently she's currently filming Silo, or she has been. She's been busy with that. But we do know Anya Taylor-Joy was there. I did see her pretty recently, maybe like a month ago. She was pictured with a copy of Dune, which is interesting because if they're adapting Dune Messiah, well, she just needs to know all about her character. So that's great that she's going back to what she's missed in the origins of Aaliyah. So that was great to see her actually reading Dune, which is her origin of her character. And of course, she'll continue on with Dune Messiah. But yeah, we've already seen like Timothée Chalamet. He's already read Dune Messiah, but I've seen a few of him with a French edition of Messiah here recently, kind of freshen up. So that's good to know. I haven't seen anyone with Children of Dune. Haven't seen anyone pictured with that book running around. So I don't know. I will hold on to that. And hopefully all of these little tidbits are confirming what my hope is that it will showcase the in-between years to some extent between Dune and Dune Messiah, talking about the jihad. And the miniseries opened like that too. The Children of Dune miniseries showed a bit of the jihad. They were actually on one of the planets being occupied. And you have Princess Irulan narrating, talking about the jihad and talking about the Holy Crusade. And I think it did show Farak and his son being blinded, but they didn't show like a bunch of flashbacks. It was an actual scene. They're talking about the Holy War, and they were on in somewhat of a cold planet, and Farak's son was injured. He's been blinded. So that paves the way for the Fremen conspiracy. And I like that. I do think if they end it the way the book ends, I would definitely describe that as a visceral and satisfying conclusion. I can't think of a more like hard-hitting and visceral ending than what's already there in the source material for you. And when I think about that, I can't see Denis like undercutting that ending to jump ahead 16 plus years to do an actual time jump and then start a whole new narrative with Children of Dune. I just can't see that happening in the middle of a movie if he decides to just mush them together. The first post that the actual Dune official social media account did, well, first of all, they didn't call Dune Part 3. They called it the third film in Denis Villeneuve's trilogy. And they have the quote in there that is said of Muad'Dib, that he has gone into the land without footprints. They took the Muad'Dib part out, the first half of that sentence. And I think it was kind of a little nod to the fact that we're going to end it where it should end. So I think that was a little wink for Dune fans specifically. So at least that is my hope. I choose to see it that way. And I think the intent for Denis Villeneuve in trying to have the visions of the teenage twins would be just to set up the potential and the anticipation for the next story, the next film, whoever will take that on. If wishes were fishes, we'd all cast nets. So we'll see.